When talking about Dune, a lot of people compared it to Star Wars. At first glance, that seems like a great comparison. They both have space worms and weird looking people blowing up stuff. But after watching part 1 and 2 and being like halfway through the book, Dune is a subtle, grand, heartfelt cinematic event. Dune is such a deep, beautiful story that can only truly be compared to the most beautiful story put on screen. The Lord of the Rings. From a story point, Lord of the Rings and Dune aren't identical by any means, but from a cinematic view, I feel like Dune is the only thing that has gotten close to the feeling of watching The Lord of the Rings for the first time. It felt like a genuine journey with highs and lows. It truly feels like an event. I feel like we've kind of gotten away with that with everything being on streaming now. A lot of stuff you just wait to watch at home, and I feel like it really loses how grand a movie can be when it's this huge event that everyone goes to see. They also both have the same feel of escapism, of going and exploring a beautifully fleshed out world that's so vast and creative you just want to dive in and explore everything. I honestly didn't think anything could even get close to how well thought out and vast Middle Earth is, and even though Dunes isn't as grand, it's pretty close. Everything makes sense, everything works together beautifully, and it seems like a genuine world that people have been living in. And they're both brought to life with some of the best effects ever seen on the big screen. That in the case of Lord of the Rings, changed cinema forever, and in the case of Dune, will most likely change cinema again. I just feel like Dune has something that I've only really felt in Lord of the Rings. It has a timeless sense to it. If I were to ask you when you think the book Dune was written, what would you say? The answer is 1965. That's 59 years ago. In the same sense that Lord of the Rings was written 70 years ago. But both of these stories were crafted with so much attention to detail and care and thought that they stand the test of time for decades. But that's really more about the books. Yeah, both of these books are masterpieces. But what does this have to do with the movies? Well, adapting a book to a movie is pretty freaking hard. It doesn't turn out the best a lot of the time. The biggest thing with adapting a book to the big screen is some things have to change. Because of how different a movie is from a book, there are some things you can convey in a book that you can't convey in film. You can't put in every little detail in every little moment. So the biggest thing is knowing what to keep and what to change, while still staying true to the source material. And Dune has done this great. Now I'm not going to get into all of it because I haven't finished the book yet, and I know there's some things that people who read the book don't 100% love, but for me, I don't mind any of it. Dune has just nailed how grand it feels. Dune is a cinematic story. It's a grand, vast, soaring story, and they have nailed this in the movies. But what's really impressive is the fact that they've kept the heart of the story at the core. Dune is just as much a tragic personal tale as it is a grand action adventure. I think this is the biggest thing tying Dune and Lord of the Rings together. Face value, they just look like your generic fantasy and sci-fi movies. Just action and CGI monsters and nothing else. But at the core of both of these stories are just really beautiful, heartfelt, character-led stories. They may both have action, but that's not what sets them apart. Personal journey that you go through with these characters is what sets these stories apart. You get to know them, you learn with them, you grow with them, you see them at their highest points and at their lowest points. You grow to love these characters as though they're real because they might as well be real. They're written with such genuine goals and complexities and flaws and strengths, and by the end you feel like you've grown with them. You've been through it all with them, and it leaves you with this feeling that can't really be described unless you experienced it. And I honestly thought Lord of the Rings would be the only story that ever made me feel this emotion so strongly. I mean, Lord of the Rings is one in a million. It's such a grand journey, but at the heart of it, it's really just about two hobbits. But Dune has the same heart. Even if I like Lord of the Rings more, I mean, come on, it's literally the best book ever written and the best film trilogy ever. I mean, you know, no one can deny that. Dune has something that very few stories can achieve. It has perfectly balanced the incredible action, the beautiful effects, the cinematic marvel of it all, with the fragile, intimate, heartfelt side of it. Because when it comes down to it, that's the part that matters. That's truly what makes these tales really matter. And all I can really say about Dune is that I cannot freaking wait for the third one. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.